here we are. We are in the round of 12, and we have Dogao here in the blue playing as the Berbers to start it off. And Dogao was third place in Group B, ended with 8 wins. Did have some good wins against some of the bigger players in the group. We knew Dogao was going to be in the top 3 nearly, it felt like anyways, because he's just so consistent and so good. And he is the experienced player who's been around a long time. And then we have Andy in the red, who's got momentum here. He beat Hera, he beat Jordan. People started really freaking out about FreakinAndy in the group stage. But then the last 2 weeks, came off a little human, right? A reminder that everyone else in that group was also still really good. So let's see what Andy can bring here today. I'm excited.
Yeah, and like Balt, who a lot of people felt, okay, yeah, he would just be like 4th, maybe 5th in that group. No, he is playing the round of 12 playoffs later on as well, because he had a crazy set, and this might be maybe not the big names compared to yesterday, but the caliber and the level will be here today as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the question for me is, will Dogao be able to deal with some of the craziness Andy can provide? Andy is very well-rounded, and he's got tenacity when it comes to staying alive in games that I think a lot of players in the next gen honestly nearly kind of lack, right? Like, oftentimes it's like, okay, established player who's been around for 5 to 10 years. That player gets a lead, they win the game. And Andy, in games against Jordan and games against Hera in his group, he was able to bring games back, right? So I'm real excited to see how Dogao chooses to game plan for him today. But like you said, your teammates, a lot of the Gamer Legion players, a lot of the experienced names that have been around for a long time, they believe in Dogao today. And they think Dogao is a big name for a reason and should be able to get the job done.
Whew. Man. This is like really interesting. And Dogao, it feels like he has more to prove than FreakinAndy, right? He is already exceeding expectations.
Andy just lost the villager. Andy just lost the villager to an elephant.
Oh boy. Okay, maybe the nerves.
Yeah, he took it. He brought it in from pretty far away, and he tried to use a palisade to de-aggro the elephant, so it wouldn't attack anymore. So that's something players are pretty consistent with. But when he tried to place a house, he didn't have the. All right, I'm assuming he tried to place a house and didn't have the wood. So he had to fall back with the palisade, and that is not the start you want here if you're Andy.
Oi. Okay, that's a shaky one, especially Andy, I felt, would be one of the better ones trying to quick wall in those scenarios.
Yeah.
Did skip Loom, now squeezes in another village. I was already thinking about clicking up, but maybe didn't have the second building, so gets another villager, and then we'll be up at a reasonable time. Obviously, Malians will have the advantage here, wood bonuses, and simply earlier with the fishing ships.
Yep.
Early uptime here. Pretty standard.
I mean, hopefully he could shake it off a bit, right? And it happens. It is what it is. I don't think we're going to go back and watch it, but honestly, though, he had the palisade placed directly over the elephant. So I think what he lacked was actually hitting the palisade to de-aggro the elephant. But the positioning of it was good. I think he was expecting the elephant to just turn around. Right now, both players have done similar things with their scouting. Look how active Dogao's been, for example. He actually stole 2 goats that he's going to send to the corner now. So that's going to be rough for Andy underneath his TC. And Dogao saw the dock from Andy, and Andy saw the dock from Dogao, and they are both going for a water approach here.
Well, let's take a look. No second dock from Dogao yet. He moves the villager away. Oh, this might be a land approach. Is this an archer play?
This question is, why move the villager away? It almost feels like he knows that he'll forget about that villager like some players do, or that it could be killed by a fire ship, and it is the second dock for Andy, which now becomes important. The scouting, again, Andy's coming back over here to the shoreline. And you know what would really freak me out? If I didn't see the dock villager next to Dogao's dock, I would assume that he pulled that villager somewhere to make the second dock.
Yeah. Absolutely reasonable. Now he scouts the bottom, though, sees no natural defensive second dock, so he knows, okay, if your villager is not here, it has to be a more aggressive one. But that should be an easy scout. Andy not going for it, though, so not full information, but he just opens with 2 fire galleys regardless.
Yeah, Camel Scout's the most important unit here. Earlier in the game, Andy lost a villager to the elephant, but having Berbers with the faster villagers can help you in these situations if you're Dogao. Great job from him as he brings in another elephant. And honestly, he's just walled in his gold miners. He's open with a barracks, but he hasn't actually gone for a stable or an archer range yet. So I was expecting a little bit more from Dogao. I think he's going to add it now.
Yeah, and he has 300 food floating. This might just be one scout into fast castle, honestly. But do you have enough food? Like, you will lose your fish. Not 100% sure about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite as concise, right? Like, typically, it's like you're deciding on what you're going for, and you're going for it immediately. So a little slow on the build-up. That could have something to do with not being Malians, though, because in comparison, the Malians can afford to produce a lot. At this point, though, Andy, he has scouted the fact that Dogao's on gold. He still has not seen the barracks and the stable. He is going to see that soon. He sees the stable now. That is a really important thing for Andy to see.
Really nice move here. And, well, Dogao, he will be floating quite a lot of gold. He will have 4 on gold soon, and is not really using it. Yeah, 1 dog fire galley production. I don't think this is too impressive, and Castle Age timing will be a bit off for Dogao. Feels unclean.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see. This is a map where, it is so much easier said than done. And I think you really can't get a feel for that until you just play it. And I speak from experience because I was talking optimization and timings and blah, 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 blah. And like scouting with the Camel Scout, and I played one game and I was like, oh my God, like there's so many things you have to do all the time. From a bird's eye view, you just don't really realize how having to take the hunt in different areas, wall up, go water or land it's just so difficult to focus on that.
It's also not only you need to do a lot of things, but also you need to do them on completely different angles or different spots on the map.
Yeah,
so like it's not like, okay, you can zoom out and micro a lot of stuff. No, you have to like jump to areas where you sometimes don't have a group, right? You're not typically like grouping your zebra hunters in the back.
It is very like unintuitive to play. Like it does not have a good flow to it. I agree. So Dogao's lost his fishing ships. He's still trying to snipe some from Andy. He did actually kill one, but he also killed Andy's dock villager, so that's pretty nice. Andy's going to try and get this elephant right now. He knows there's scouts out there, and it's just a risky play from Andy, and Andy has left himself exposed here, and I think we are seeing the moment getting to Andy, because that right there, that is a risk that is usually not worth taking.
Oh man, he knew that the scouts were out, right? This is really surprising. Didn't properly wall to the town center, now tries to wall behind it. Those 4 scouts, unlikely to make it out. The big question, how much damage are they finding?
Yeah, and this is a dream scenario for Dogao, right? Because you're losing water, and your opponent's been walling, right? Walling and going towards spears, so your scouts otherwise wouldn't be able to accomplish anything in the middle of the map. Dogao's not being attacked anywhere that is important to him right now. Like on land, he's not being attacked. He's getting hit by these spears, but like his base isn't getting hit at all, right? So he could just micro these scouts. He doesn't have to focus on anything else. Good job from Andy, obviously, to have some spearmen, but he's got 6 of them.
Another villager dies. 1 low HP, 1 in the back. Might get saved. And Dogao, I think I would even commit against that villager. No. Wants to keep them alive. Wants to stay annoying.
If you force 6 spearmen from your opponent, because you get through with 4 scouts, you are living the dream. Like, that is so many spearmen. This is with a civilization that doesn't really excel with spears, I guess. I suppose with Malians, you get the higher pierce armor or something, but still. So, kind of a shaky start for Andy, I'd say. Dogao's going to click up here soon. Andy does have the 8 fishing ships, though, which could still be really good for him.
Andy builds another spearman. This looks like my typical defensive scouts are coming in, right? I refuse to quick wall my villagers, and somehow I end up with 8 idle spearmen in my base and lost 4 builds.
Yeah. The thing I will say about Andy that I've noticed, he loves to make lots of army, and he is very late with the walls. Like, on Lands Madness, I think we were casting him versus Barles, right? And remember his opening where he just didn't add any small walls, and he just made the army. So it's like kind of an approach, and it is a nice approach because it as a player, it means that you are really strong with military because that is what you prioritize and focus. Whereas like oftentimes if you focus on walls, they're going to find a way through. You then don't have the army. But yeah, it definitely seems a little wild here for Andy. And this is Dogao. I mean, again, guy has been one of the best players for a very long time. Never even researched Loom in this game. This guy's had full control here. Hunting in the middle. It feels like he just feels like he can do no wrong right now.
Yeah, and like map control will continue, right? He can easily go for knights. In the long run, could even consider going camel archers. This will be tricky for the Malian player to go for some good units because camel archers not easily counted if you're Malians.
Yeah. Lovely use of the bonuses here from Dogao. I love how simple he made the game for himself as he finally loses the scouts. He just said, fine, I'll give you the water. It's not that important to me. I'll make sure you can't do any damage to me on land. And those scouts getting through were a pretty big deal. Dogao's going to arrive to Castle Age. And Andy's sending 2 forward villagers. Andy, I think, senses, I am behind right now, and I need to do something wacky. I've seen Siege Monk pushes on this map before. It feels like a very Andy thing to do right now.
It also makes sense if you think about how will I ever use those spearmen, right?
Yep.
He had 8 spearmen, and if you're just chilling at home, Dogao will not like just suicide his knights into it.
Yep.
But if you force the issue, if you get like 2 mangonels, maybe 2 rams, and really pressure Dogao, those spearmen can actually be used in a fight.
Now, I'm wondering, will Dogao notice this? He sees the house. That's not enough to tell you, but it should give you an idea there's villager around. He's kind of looking. He's spreading his knights out now. And he's actually going to run directly into the monastery foundation, so that's good for Dogao. Also good that he saves the knight. But, you know, just a small thing here. Normally, what you want to do when you see that monastery go up is you think, okay, we avoid that now. Where else can we go? And there is still a way into the back eco for Dogao. He just has to run right underneath Andy's TC.
I'm not 100% sure if it's kind of blocked off. There are areas in the town center where you can't walk through. I think the back area might be one of them. I'm honestly not sure.
Okay. I mean, it's a very natural thing to avoid running underneath people's TCs, but when there's no farms, he could do that. And Andy sensing that now, so he's had time to think about it. Once he gets the gate and the palisade, he will be fine. Monk on the way from his monastery. Second TC going up as well. So this is not an all-in. This is going to be solid eco behind this for Andy, who is ahead in workers right now.
Oh, committing against the monk eats the conversion instantly. And yeah, he can't complain about this.
No, yeah, I agree. And he actually loses a monk, but he has now basically killed 2 knights. And Dogao needs to save that knight as well. So a little sloppy there from Dogao, but I think he was just surprised by this, right? He just thought this was going to be a boom up towards him. And camel archers. He did get a relic at home. He did convert a pikeman. And he is very heavy on stone, Dogao.
Had 10 villages at one point. Moved some over to wood. And Dogao, 9 on stone. He will get the castle up early. I think he's expecting a bigger push than is actually happening by Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I would too, right? Like, you kill the vills. You feel like you're in a strong position. You see pike and you see monastery. It is almost always like double monastery and a siege workshop.
But how many vills did you kill? 3, 4?
5.
And
well, but I don't know how many. Maybe he killed like 4. Yeah.
I think 4 villages, 1 fishing ship.
Yep.
And you know that your opponent has at least 5 fishing ships, right?
That's fair.
So economy is not like crazy good. The opponent doesn't have to all in.
Yeah. Again, maybe Andy just turning it into a type of game Dogao wasn't looking for with the Berbers, right? And obviously, yeah, you want to go camel archers with Berbers, but usually you want to be 3 town centers, lots of like big food and wood eco, and then you delay the castle a little bit. Both players getting atonement now to convert enemy monks, and Dogao creeping around with these 2 knights here. He has to be careful where he goes with them.
Yeah, and probably not committing to too many more knights. So camel archers now. This is just a beautiful unit to play with, right? And Andy, he will struggle to find good answers. Most of the time, in this matchup, I would think, wow, quick conversion on the left-hand side. I think the most likely scenario for Andy to get an advantage here is to get earlier to him and trap that castle.
Yeah. Now, where's the castle going to be placed? I think Dogao might be considering the mountain because he's bringing his monks over that way. An upgrade I was not expecting from Dogao today is Atonement, right? Like, he's not the biggest monk player ever. Berbers also aren't known for their monks, but you can research Atonement. So great job from Dogao, kind of keeping pace with our meta today. Seeing a lot more of these monk techs utilized, and Andy will know that that means Atonement there. And he's going to bring in his own monks, And this could go either way. And then there's going to be the pikes. It's looking pretty good
upgrade.
for Dogao right now.
Ooh, gets all of them. Really good. If Dogao now gets away with those monks, that was brilliant for him.
Yeah, now the problem is the monks can't convert anymore, and there's no real army to protect them.
Well, but they're
so,
reasonably fast, right?
Yeah.
Whoever is in, I think he will save at least 2.
yeah, that's a good point. Knights, though, getting converted. He deletes the last one, deletes the monk even, and he now falls back towards his monastery. Castle for Dogao, Nilly. Not anywhere near this. Not worried about saving the starting town center. He's actually placing it on the hill. And that is a big, big castle spot. It's a castle that a lot of players don't like to place. Maybe outside of the top 15, top 20, top 30, because there's no army control there, right? You feel like things could go wrong. But he knows all the actions happening at my base. That is an important castle to place. And well played, Dogao.
Yeah. But I think the second castle is going to be very close to his starting town center.
Yeah.
He knows, okay, that's the next pressure. The first one was more like, okay, I really do not want you to get a castle up close to my base at the top.
Look at Andy's eco behind this. He's got such a good economy. He's got 36 on food. He's got some of his fishing ships on fish traps. There's going to be siege coming in now. He's banking up stone to maybe build a castle. And, you know, maybe Dogao needed the castle earlier so he could get camel archers. It's so tricky. It's just got monks, really, in defense. And as we said, he is the Berbers. It's not a civilization you necessarily want to rely on monks with in the long run. So, crazy play from Andy here. Of course, the awkward start, right, where the villager went down to the rhino. If you're a real tilter, that could frustrate you and affect you a little bit. But he's going to drop a castle right there, and I think Dogao will have to do the same. What in the world?
He's leading some farms. Couldn't really place the castle there. He needs to pull more villagers, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many villagers here for Andy at the moment. So it would ideally, or you would think normally that Dogao would win the race, but there's a Mangonel here.
Monk v Monk here, pretty crazy. And yeah, Andy is not committing with his Mangonel. I thought he would dive instantly, and I think he could have done a lot.
Well, he has taken out a lot of the monks. And now Dogao's coming in a little bit desperate just to deny Andy's castle. I'm really curious. Will Andy's castle get denied by Dogao's castle? I don't think it will.
Right now, it's not focusing on the right units. I think he could have clicked the villagers here.
No, I don't think he has the range. I think he would need Bodcanero to have the range. That castle's actually going to go up, which makes it kind of nightmarish for Dogao. And what's Andy going to use that castle for? Imp. So he clicks up to Imp. He wants to go Trebuchets from the middle of the map, though. I'm still concerned. Like, what is Andy's long-term army comp going to be here? I guess it's going to be monks at this point. He's got a whole bunch of monks on the field.
You can just go pikes, right? If your opponent is losing his castles,
yeah,
it's absolutely fine to go pikes here. Oh, might even steal 2 of the relics.
Yeah, I know he'll probably go for those immediately. Lots of monk production for Andy. The difference between this and your standard monk play from like an arena player is there is really solid eco behind this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even adding in rams and making petards in his castle so he can take out Dogao's castle. Dogao needs his camel archers to find some type of benefit here. He's got so many of them now. He's got 10. I just don't know. He doesn't have Bodcanero yet.
Oh, 10 aren't crazy. Oh, especially if you reduce 2 of those 10. At 10 against 9 monks, that's not enough.
Yeah, seriously, especially with great monk control. And no, Dogao does have cheap light cap as an option with the Berbers, but he's just so stuck right now because he will want to save his food for the Imperial Age, which he's already going to be behind in.
Oh, there will be a lot of conversions here. Actually, better start for Dogao.
Yep. I think Dogao is going to struggle when he sees his opponent hits the Imperial Age here, though. He's still 2 minutes away from the Imperial Age. The castle's going to go down next to his starting TC. There will be a lot of eco behind that. Andy, he's going to be able to make trebuchets out of that castle.
How low will the castle go? Why do we not have a Mangonel there for Dogao? He's getting pushed by the monks. Exactly what we feared should happen in this set.
Yeah. Yeah, it is so weird how it happened. It was like one monastery into eco into a whole bunch of monks after the fact. was not the order I think Dogao was expecting here. And still just wondering, can the Camel Archers actually do anything here?
I don't think so. Numbers are not there. 17 Camel Archers against 13 Monks on the field. You need way higher numbers, otherwise you will just convert half of it, and then you'll still face all the pikemen.
Yeah, agree. And pikes are actually fairly decent with the Malians too, because you have the higher Pierce armor, which does help. And this has just been a struggle for Dogao the whole way through, Nilly.
Conversion's actually really close, 16 versus 15. It felt like Andy got so much more.
Yeah. So I don't know where you're at, Nilly, but it's not looking very good for Dogao. I had my game on slight fast forward, which probably took us out of sync. I'm sure you can see the direction the game's going.
No. It's over for me as well.
Okay.
Like, it ended for you, like, it's sped up 2 seconds probably.
Okay, yeah, that's my bad. Instead of having it on one-time speed, I had it on fast forward, and when there's a spec delay and then someone resigns, it speeds up. So my bad. Andy wins the first game here, and Camel Archers were just never a factor for Dogao. Did he just expect Andy to all-in him? Was that it, you think?
But if he is all-inning, the castle at the top would have been late as well, right?
Yeah.
It just felt like lack of outposts, lack of scouts. He built like some knights, but the line of sight of knights is so bad.
Yeah.
I think Dogao simply played a bit in the dark.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not too sure, but one thing I'm continually impressed with Andy is his macro. Say what you want about the monks. Say what you want about the pikes, the siege, all that. Look at the macro in that game. 11k wood, 10k food, 7k gold, and then over 2k stone. Like, it not only has he collected more of every resource behind that, but also the balance of it was like seemingly perfect, right? He was never really floating too much of one resource. He was always spending his resources and getting upgrades at the proper times. So that is what Dogao's going to have to deal with today. That is why people have been saying that Andy is the favorite in this series. And Dogao's going to need a response then on his home map.
Also, something that surprised me was the fire galley choice by Dogao.
Yeah.
I thought if he plays Berbers, why not take advantage of the faster moving galleys? Just wait for 2 galleys, and then you 3-volley a fishing ship.
Yeah,
Typically,
that's
that's the approach there, right? If you just want to snipe fish, Berbers are the best civ for it.
Yeah. The other thing is the stable from Dogao wasn't, like, obviously he did damage with it, but it wasn't up immediately. He would have had an extra minute to play around with, possibly to apply more pressure to Andy. Just small things we talk about, of course, because Andy wins the game. And Dogao, if he didn't know already, is probably going to be like, whoa, okay, so this guy, the hype is real. All right, so game 2 here, and I think it's worth reminding people where Dogao has always shown the most, and that is the maps that incorporate water. Fantastic land player as well, but there was a time where people considered him to be one of the better hybrid players in our scene, and I still think that his strengths would lie on maps like this. Here he's gone for the Byzantines, and then we've got the Japanese for FreakinAndy. Good old map Migration. We don't have the center looking like an apple core today. I have no clue what that is. But Nilly, excited to break this map down here with you.
A mushroom, maybe, I could offer? But I can't explain the bottom right thingy then.
I'm not creative enough to say what that looks like. Something that got stepped on and squished. How's that?
Okay. Broccoli is something I could see as well.
Broccoli. Yeah, okay. All right.
Venus fitting.
And broccoli, mushroom. A mushroom that someone took a bite out of. The head of an axe. Okay, it's not bad. So, Byzantines, I think of most maps against the Japanese that incorporate water. Actually, I take it back. Even on land, typically the better civ, right? Like, you have the faster working fires. You have the higher HP on your buildings. You have as good of archer line as the Japanese do. You have the elite skirm, which is a great counter to that and cheap. You have bombard cannons, Japanese don't. You have siege ram and Japanese don't. You have better stable units. Like, I just think advantage Byzantines the whole way through. But I wonder if that is the case on Migration, where the Japanese can have such a great fishing eco.
Well, you can just think about it. How often did we see Japanese on this map? A lot. How often did we see Byzantines? Maybe never before?
There was one game, and it was actually pretty freaking sick. It was running against Valis, and it was the
Oh, yeah, that hurt.
in the series where the loser would be relegated, and running went fast imp with Byzantines and into Dramens to Dramen the opponent's island, but unfortunately just never had the mainland control.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he was really late. Ballas played a very early feudal age there, and felt like running was on the back foot the whole game.
Dogao's going to play
Byzantines-
early feudal age. He's getting loom, and he only has 6 on wood right now.
Oh, that's interesting. And a transporter. Oh, this is what I wanted to see yesterday. This will be transporter going to the other side of the broccoli, and then fire galleys instantly in the fish of Andy. This is beautiful.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So we haven't seen this yet in all of gold and all of platinum. We've not seen it in feudal age. We've only seen it in castle age. But the downside of trying this in castle age has always been that by the time you get villagers to the middle, the other player would already have army there. Wow. Okay, so the downside, of course, you only have 2 fishing ships yourself if you're Dogao. You're now going to be down in villagers as well because your TC is taking you to feudal instead of producing villagers. But obviously could be some huge benefit if he can kill all those Japanese fish early.
Yeah, and you need to kill a lot here. This is like, sometimes we say, yeah, okay, early feudal age, it's fine if he kills like 3-4 fishing ships and gets fish behind it. This one needs to do damage.
Yeah.
Economy will be so much worse for Dogao. But Andy, obviously far away from clicking up. This will be a difference of at least 2 minutes.
Yeah. This is interesting. I mean, I can see the reasoning for this. Unfortunately for Dogao, he hasn't seen the shoreline yet. And so he is actually wandering a bit further away from where Andy's going to have the fish. And this is a big deal. Like, where's Dogao going?
Wrong direction. Oh, no.
What?
Does he not know what a broccoli looks like?
I mean,
Do they not have broccolis in Brazil?
I will have to ask him after this game, Nilly. I'm sure that's what he'll want to answer. He still doesn't have the dock down. I mean, he saw water, right? But I think he wants the ideal dock spot, and he's completely confused himself here.
Oh, this hurts so much.
Yeah.
This is like 50 seconds delay for the fire galleys. This is absolutely buying the time for Andy here.
Yeah, and normally what we say is by the time you get fires over to the fish have already paid off. Andy's adding a transport right now, and Andy, with 3 docks, should actually be in a position to be able to stabilize this. I felt like the strategy for Dogao was very risky anyways. The fact that his docks are so delayed, just brutal for him.
Yeah, and some people feel like, why did he not use the transporter to maybe scout where to dock? Well, that would have given the strategy away. So
Yeah.
I actually like that he kept it at home.
He's going to kick himself now. He's like, come on, what was that? But, honestly, he saw shoreline on the left. It was there where he ended up docking here. He saw it. And then he also saw shoreline in the north. So to then wander all the way to the east is just some indecision from Dogao. And probably the downside of the strategy. Look at Andy. Andy's like, huh? Andy sees that when he goes to use his transport. So now he has an idea of what's coming.
And Andy already collected an extra 1,000 resources. Just think about like how much damage you need to do now.
Yeah. It feels like even if you kill the fish, you've only had 3 behind this yourself. Andy had no loom, which is risky. He is going to make a barracks in the middle now. And Dogao saw those villagers, so Dogao's going to make a barracks too. But, oh man, these fires, they've got to kill fish. Andy is hiding the fishing ships in the back corner. Look at this. Smart.
Pretty clever. Yeah.
There's a little bit of fish
man.
back there as well. And Dogao, of course, doesn't have the scouting there. Andy still no loom. Andy quick walling in the villagers, though. My goodness. That was impressive.
Dogao is in feudal age for more than 2.5 minutes. And there's 0 damage done by him on water.
Yeah. He did kill a villager on the shorefish, which is a positive. He did kill the scout in the middle, which is a positive. And Andy still does not have loom. So
Okay.
if he's able to maintain the fire numbers, maybe kill these villagers from Andy, could be okay. I mean, Andy's fishing ships are going to run out of food eventually. And Andy hasn't clicked up yet. So Dogao has a lot of control. He's even going to tower that. I like that. I think he needs big things to happen for him. And killing these villagers should be priority number 1.
Yeah, I like it. Get some damage done here against the fire galleys. And Dogao feels like he's a bit confused. Like, where is your fish?
Yeah. He did kill the first fire from Andy, though. And the pressure is paying off. Andy now getting Loom as he runs away with his villagers. Dogao lost his scout. That's notable because he'll need to scout other areas, but he's going to wall in the stable right now. And Andy is blocking his fire galley with a Japanese fishing ship. This fishing ship does not care. Dogao is here with more fires, though.
You need more villages to repair this area, I believe. I'm a bit surprised how Andy is like trickling in with his fire galleys. I think just keeping them in the dock might have been an option.
Well, I mean,
then take the big fight.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to save villagers in the middle. He's trying to keep his stable up. He's trying to micro down vills. There's just so much stuff happening. And while it was delayed for Dogao, this is what he wanted. He wanted early pressure, and he wants Andy to make mistakes. And so far, it's looking better than I thought it would be for Dogao after the late docks.
First fishing ships are dying. Nice block still. Now the big question, are you accepting to kill some fish? Fire galley count at only 3 against 6. Dogao, is he getting the damage done that he needs?
It feels like if he continues to snowball the fights against the fire galleys, that he could hold this. Andy lost his scouts in the middle. Andy's villagers are still there. Now the villagers for Dogao come to repair. And Andy does click up to Castle Age, which is a pretty big deal. Dogao is still very far away, so he needs to get more damage.
Yeah, might be full reset on fishing ships there, but fire galley count is getting closer and closer. Nice micro here by both players.
Wow, yeah, really nice micro. But Dogao's got more repair villagers. Didn't work out for him there. I'm just not seeing the Navy numbers right now for Andy. I think Andy's going to lose most of his fish. It'll be tough for him to afford anything when he makes it to Castle Age.
But that's totally fine, right?
Yeah,
just
true.
put 12 on gold. The moment you buy yourself the Castle Age ship upgrade,
Then
you are
could be in a
fine.
good spot.
Just everything on wood and gold, and you will win water even against Byzantines.
And he could forward dock Dogao's side and get some fires into Dogao's fishing eco.
Ooh, yeah.
Wow, what a sneaky little spot for Andy here on the left. Like, he's almost out of fish, and I think Dogao's going to notice this. Uh-oh. Where are you going to go with him now? There's nowhere to run. Oh, no. This is horrible for the fishing ships.
Really good KD for Dogao here. 20-7 already.
Yeah. Of course, that includes some of the scouts he killed from Andy as well. Oh, man, I guess Dogao doesn't see them back there. He just needs to focus on the water fights. Nice split micro there from Dogao against the demo. Still continually repairing. This game is just pure chaos here, Nilly.
Andy collected 2,500 extra resources, but Dogao already killed more than 1,500 more. And that's why this game is so even.
Look at Andy walling. Quick walling his villagers from the spearmen right now. The villagers are so important. Nice quick walls on both of them. So the villagers will be safe for now. He's in the Castle Age. Like you said, probably needs to buy the food now to get the War Galley upgrade, which would upgrade the ships.
There was 1 HP in the villager in the center. Sorry.
Okay, yep, no worries. I don't even know whose villagers we're talking about because there's villagers as well for Dogao, but I assume it was the weak one for Andy as he's going to drop a monastery with one of those vills. And like you said, the resources collected, insane due to the approach from Andy. Dogao has aimed to punish this here, but I'm worried for Dogao because there's going to be a lot of time for Andy being in Castle Age to just fight back on water and stabilize. And Dogao's Navy numbers not really that high as he thinks about Castle Age himself.
What do you think? A fire galley from Byzantines in Feudal Age against a fire ship from Japanese in Castle Age. Who wins and how many HP left?
I know you probably know the specifics. I've talked about this with you before, or I've heard you bring it up. It's really close, actually. The Feudal Age fire from Byzantines usually does pretty good.
Yeah, that's actually correct. Like, it's incredibly close. I think it might even be a double kill or like 2 or 3 HP left for the Byzantines. The big unit here is the demo, though. That's the real killer, and Feudal Age fires die heavily to Castle Age demos.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is it's also just kind of a numbers game, right? Like, it's 7 fire ships for FreakinAndy. It's 1 for Dogao, as he actually made another transport on the front. And Dogao is making some land army now. He really needs this to work out, and he's going to kill one of those villagers from Andy. But Andy's going to pop out with the monk to convert the archer. That needs to be deleted. It is deleted. Well played there, Dogao. Wow. That's smart.
Yeah, really clever play. Spearman converted on the other side. And Villager gets away. Wow, that was really crucial.
Villager gets away for now. Do you add more fishing ships if you're Andy? Because it kind of feels like you've won water.
You have one water for now. I don't mind adding like 2-3 fishing ships. You certainly can't go up to 12.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe even some sneaky docks in other areas. But I think you don't want to add too many if Dogao still has those forward docks. And this is where being Byzantines is so nice, because you have the HP on those docks. So, wow, what a game. I mean, Dogao has not given up in the middle here, Nilly. He's got scouts around. He's killed quite a few monks over the last few moments. He's hunting for that villager that Andy has. That is the only villager Andy has in the middle then. That villager's being attacked by a spearman right now on that right side.
But could be saved by the fires. Let's take a look how this one goes. Maybe patrolling into the transporter first. And Dogao, I'm not sure if he will realize that he lost that transporter.
Yeah. Yeah, he sent that all the way home. I think he tried to make a transport from home, and then he accidentally made it from the forward dock. That's what we saw there.
Okay.
Dogao did kill another monk with the scouts. However, he donated a scout to Andy. So Andy's only villager in the middle is still that villager on the very right side, which is kind of like the most difficult place to get to. If you're Andy with a villager, he somehow ended up over there.
True.
Pretty close game. And this is the type of game you want in the tournament, right? Very nervy, very scrappy. Both players showing what they're made of. And Dogao's back on water now, Nilly. He's back on water from the forward docks.
Really nice here. And yeah, just simply like two different approaches clashing against each other, and still a pretty even game within 5 population here at the 25-minute mark. Got to love it.
Second TC for Dogao is going to be built on the middle island, though, which is so important. Andy had his second TC on the starting island, which is not necessarily bad if you consider the fact that he's had that for a long time now. So he's rising in the villager count, but doesn't really have a way to control the middle. So I think it's going to have to be water for Andy. He's going to have to at least get an advantage there. He is surrounding Dogao's starting island, which is quite nice, but his island needs to be defended.
A bit surprised that Dogao is not contesting his own island. Maybe try to redock, get some fire galleys out. He's only concerned about denying Andy from getting fish.
Oh, we could see massive demos here. There's the demo from Andy. It's not... Oh, it does hit, actually, which is reasonable. But he knows Andy's waiting for him, and he is on the prowl with these two demos. Oh, my God. It would be the juiciest demo shot if he could just see those ships on the shoreline there.
Oh, he doesn't. Oh, God Vision is worth so much in those spots.
Yeah, seriously. And now imagine if he had the demos here. The demos would have landed, and he could potentially win the fight. Now he's going in with weak fires, and Andy has some repairs. And yes, you're Byzantines, but I think Andy... Oh, demo. Still here. It's worth it for Dogao, I think. You at least forced Andy to run away and not engage, and he takes out the dock. He'll take out the ships. Well played, Dogao.
And Andy had to split, right? That's something that is very heavily undervalued. That those fire galleys or fire ships, while dodging the demo, are actually not fighting and taking extra damage.
Yeah, that's a good point. Monks from Andy in the middle still. We know he can get going with those. He is also then making a TC on the mainland with that one villager. So there's potential for him. He has the eco lead. Res collected is probably an interesting stat to look at now. It's still Andy's had the lead, but Dogao, I think, has the better civilization the longer the game goes here. So we'll see. With 2 TCs in the mainland, should be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, also way more vision, right? Scout in the center won't get the kill. I think got maybe not even the monk.
Redemption now for Andy. Now, Dogao's been trying. Like, there's been instances where he'd go in with a scout or two, but he doesn't have the mass anymore. If he had 3 scouts right here, he kills all the monks. Like, there's nothing to protect those monks. But he only has 1 scout in that stable, and this is giving Andy some time. There's obviously the distractions on water as well. So, tough to get the timings right here as Andy's getting redemption to start converting buildings. He may choose to start converting the house. Okay, Dogao cannot hop out here. It's really tricky because the conversion's going to be switched right to his scouts. Oh, God, what do you do? You have to hop out.
Nah, you give up the conversion. Oh, this is tricky. No, this is not how it works.
Oh, that was so good from Andy. That was so good. We called it, but I didn't expect it to be that instant. But that's what happens. You charged up the conversion. You could switch the target. And Dogao just kills a monk and then deletes his stable. But he needs his stable.
Oh, and people have asked for the change of that mechanic quite a bit. Monks simply charging up on the buildings, longer conversion there, and then you switch into the fast conversion cycle of a unit, and that's what basically looks like an instant conversion.
Yeah, depending on who you ask, you're gonna have arena players saying, "You just make scouts and archers and nerf monks." That's my Jon Snow impression. But then you're gonna have people who play the more open maps who say that is crap. But that is exactly how the game works. It's always been how the game works. Andy made the most of it there. And I think Dogao should have known, but I'm not sure what you do. I think I would have hopped out as well.
I think I let him convert, right? Because then the monk can't
convert the units.
Another conversion.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Oh, man, the timing on this castle is crucial right now for Dogao, as there's a siege workshop for Andy making a Mangonel. Dogao's going to lose his docks. So that means that he's going to struggle to contest water still. But to be fair, he's accomplished everything he set out to do. Kill the Japanese fish. Now getting a castle up before the siege can deny it. Very nice. He's got Atonement coming in to convert the enemy monks. And still, it's a very close game. But what I like for Dogao is he's got 2 TCs in the island. And he's got a castle to protect himself. He should be in a pretty good spot.
Oh, I think Andy has too much water control. Don't you think so? Actually, like water, no one is really on there. Like,
yeah, they just stopped producing. I mean, it's really tricky, right? Because yes, the castle goes up for Dogao, but Andy's still got scouts. He's still got a bunch of monks. And it's Andy monk micro, so...
Dogao is imping and builds an archery range? Is he trying to switch onto Arbalest?
I would like to change if that's what he's going to do, but please delete your archery range here, Dogao, and delete your tower. Just delete it all, because Andy's going to steal it otherwise.
No, he is. And oh no, Dogao is redocking. Why is he redocking on the center island, where the docks can be converted? Why aren't you docking on your own island?
Yeah, that is a really weird spot to redock. Thankfully for him, Andy doesn't see it just yet, but Andy will see it when he goes to get this relic.
I don't like this.
I agree. I don't like that, but what I do like is his eco setup. I do like the fact he's imping. He'll have 2 castles soon. I like the archer ranges. He could go into Arbalest. It'll take him time to get upgrades. Like, he's really far behind on those things, but still could be okay. Dogao deleted the villager, or maybe lost the villager that was building those docks we don't like, Nilly.
No, now it's exactly what we expected, right?
Yep. Demo
though? Okay.
It's all part of his plan. That's how you get rid of the monks.
Yeah, but it's still not cost efficient for you.
Who cares about cost efficient? It's about sending a message.
Okay. Then well played.
Andy building his castle with 2 villagers, by the way. And Andy is also imping, but Dogao will be there 2 minutes ahead of time. And Dogao still has really nice vill count. And the villagers... Please, do it again. Here, Dogao, with the docks. Please, do it again.
I can't hop out now with the fires, right?
Yeah, that's true. Wow, okay. Well, this is stressing you out, Nilly. I can tell because this is super avoidable for Dogao. But I just want to point out, even though Andy has 99 villagers, the villagers have been on that island. It is going to be a pain in the ass to have to transport those villagers batch after batch after batch and get them to new tasks in the middle.
Yeah, and he didn't do careening, so can only send 5 villagers at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, double castle on that hill. Wow, Andy.
Yeah, so it really feels like this is his position. If he loses it, he's going to lose the game. He knows about the double castle from Dogao. Dogao doesn't know his opponent has the castles there yet, but he is making trebs already.
First upgraded him. Heresy.
What?
Okay. I think it is a Castle Age upgrade, though, right?
Yeah, it's a Castle Age upgrade. I think Dogao hit a point where he's like, I'm sick of this crap. But honestly, I think super worth it. With how effective the monks can be and how they can get conversions, infinitely. Well, after a little bit of recharge. So I like that. The thing that I'm not a fan of for Dogao is that he doesn't have crossbow yet. It feels like, at least clicking crossbow for these archers would be important. I'm sure he'll do it in a moment, but
He's not really fighting yet, right?
yeah, that's true.
But crossbow produce faster than archers, so that would have also been an option. Then he wouldn't need to add that many archer ranges.
Now, is Andy converting anything right now that would tell him his opponent has heresy? Doesn't look like he is. Like a building would then get destroyed once converted, just like a unit would just die. There's the crossbow click for Dogao. And Dogao's trebuchets have just been going for the only thing he knew about. He did not know. Oh, God, as he runs directly into Omega. Now, with archers in the Imperial Age, he doesn't know about the castles here. Dogao, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
This is such a waste. What happened? There was like 8, 9, 10 crossbows. They would have been arbalest pretty soon. And then you have a real force against the monks. What was that move?
Yeah, just giving Andy opportunities. Andy leaning on the market. Andy will be making trebs. We might see the rare Cataparuto upgrade here. If you don't get Bombard Cannon as the Japanese, I think the Cataparuto upgrade could be worth it. We see Siege Engineers for Andy very early, just so his trebs will have the extra range.
It's actually pretty sick, right? 1 extra range. Apparently enough. It's quite an investment.
What do you... Dogao right now, he just doesn't have an army in support of his trebs. There is some concern. I don't think he researched chemistry either, Nilly. We might see that in a moment if he hasn't researched it. But that would mean no access to Bombard Cannon. And so Dogao's thought of that. There's some Micro with the crossbow. Still no Arbalest upgrade, but crossbow's way better than Archer. That is a lot of monks from Andy. And look at Andy's food count. I'd like to see Skirmisher be considered here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Skirmisher makes lots of sense against what we see from Dogao. Now the crossbows are moving in. I think he can get every single monk killed.
Yep, which is Heresy paying for itself, right? It's very easy for Dogao to do this. This is why Dogao researched Heresy. So he dives in. He's getting more upgrades. He's killing villagers too. The trebs are actually going to be exposed for Andy because Andy doesn't have anything to protect the trebs now from the crossbowmen.
Yeah. And they are too far out from the castle. Fletching not enough. Villagers dying. Dogao pushing in now.
Yeah, and Andy right now behind this, maybe trying to think of more upgrades and more units to go for. We see him getting upgrades that would affect the castle, that would affect skirms or archers if he makes them. But Dogao has had more middle control. Dogao's using the crossbows so nicely here against the trebs, and he could continue to push here. If he takes these castles out, Andy's completely dead.
Oh yeah, that's why he doubled down there, right? Because he knew, okay, that's a crucial area. I will try to set myself up at the bottom, but that's so many crossbows.
What a great tech. The Heresy technology. It has completely neutralized the thing that Andy was relying on the most here with this attack. And Andy's monks are now going down. Andy is falling apart in the middle. Dogao's got 6 trebuchets.
And this is playing the player, right? Andy's economy was good enough. 40 on food, 40 on wood. He could have just played skirmishes.
Yep.
But he is simply going for like 5 monasteries in total.
Yep. He goes for extremes, right? Goes for extremes, and we've seen enough in the series to know that there's reasons to do it. The one thing we didn't talk about, though, Onager for Andy's here. Dogao doesn't have Arbalest yet. This could be tricky for him, but I think he's going to just dance with the Onager until he takes the castle down.
Can he get more onagers out? 60% on the next one.
Oh,
Could be
God.
quite some losses, though.
Seriously, Dogao's doing a great job to repair. Crossbows go in. Dogao doesn't even lose the treb.
Sick.
Wow. Wow. What a strategy from Dogao. Honestly, I was so concerned for him that the late docks was going to be the death of him. I truly was. His eco wasn't as good as Andy's. He didn't collect as much in the way of resources as Andy, but he held control. He made it awkward for Andy in the middle. He made it awkward for Andy on water. And then he made it to Imp. Andy just simply didn't have enough mainland control. Look at his starting island. Look at the amount of villagers that have run out of resource here. It's like 50 villagers that don't have anything to work on. And we know that he wasn't going to have the time to focus on transporting through. So, a fun series so far. Dogao found an answer to the monks with Heresy. And he found an answer to the Japanese with Byzantines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really nice play. And also, like, the water play was nice by Dogao, but the land play is what really won him the game, right?
Yep.
Andy landing without loom, and then all the wall-ins, the transition into scouts, the early archers really helped out, and now the transition into crossbows, just the perfect counter to monks.
Yeah, like, so difficult obviously these players have the skill for it, and it was impressive from Andy to quick wall in his villagers. But to have to do that while also fighting against Byzantine fires from forward docks is just nightmarish, right? It's so hard to get balance down. And then after a while, we just look at it, and the stats say the game is even, but Dogao had spread out more. He was able to realistically drop castles and go for army other than the extreme of simply monks and siege. So scores 1-1. Dogao, that's the first. We haven't seen that yet in all of TTL. So he practiced that one, and I love that strategy.
Yeah. It actually was invented back in the days in a tournament called Handicap Cup, where like players were invited and put into groups. Like the best players like Dowd were tier 1, then were like other top players tier 2, and the only 2.4Ks were tier 3. And if you were one tier up, you could decide the home map. Like, or if you were one tier down, you could decide the home map. If you were 2 tiers down, you could decide the home map and both civilizations.
Ah, okay. So the idea is make it more difficult for the stronger player. That makes sense.
Exactly. And what was picked a lot was migration with Chinese versus Vikings before we had fire galleys in feudal age. And then people would fast castle with Chinese and dock on the other side.
Just to punish the galley play or the longboat play. All right, cool stuff. All right, so game 3, Aztecs for FreakinAndy. Rule number 1 of Socotra. Gonna scream it at the start. Take your elephant. Find that elephant. Take your elephant. Dogao's elephant's super far back. That's actually so good for him here. And Andy's gonna find Dogao's villager. This is common to see Loom research right away because Loom research is instantly with the Goths. It's a big reason you pick them here. And he's trying to find his elephant before Dogao finds it. Is he going to get it? Is he going to see it? He sees it. He should be okay.
Maybe some weird block now by Dogao. Nah, shouldn't happen.
Yeah, Dogao's got to be careful with the villager. Dogao's okay. So, a lot to talk about here. We'll see a lot of laming. I think players will bring villagers forward to attack the zebra, but Dogao's map is sick for Socotra start. You got zebras very close to the TC, and the elephant's on the back, so that's not bad for him.
The thing is, if Andy wants to kill those zebra, he kind of shoots them from the top, right?
Yeah.
So they move towards the town center, and it's not too bad to take a zebra like 5 tiles away from your TC.
Yeah, agreed. You pick the Aztecs because of the extra gold you start with. There goes Andy doing it anyways. I mean, I guess you could push some of them away. It still makes it less efficient for your opponent.
And the rotting.
But the Eagle's stronger than the Scout, which is a big reason to want to have the Aztecs here. And we have seen Andy go for a lot of monks in this series. So I feel as though Dogao's going to want to get a little bit of a lead in the feudal age here against Andy.
And Dogao banned the other 2 Mesosifs. He banned Incas and Mayans. So I said, I feel like Andy should pick Aztecs here.
Yeah, makes sense. And Goths felt like the natural pick as well when I looked at the draft. Goths are very good on this map. Very clean, very, very easy to play, I feel, because the hunt also lasts longer now. So that change has made them even better on Socotra, a map where you've limited hunt. Dogao.
Greedy by Andy.
Ooh, that's a big deal.
Oh, wow. And now the villager could maybe die? How far are we away from the town center? 1 screen? The scout blocked. It feels like Andy could save it.
Yeah, but think about what Dogao hasn't seen yet. He hasn't seen the berries. If he continues forward after this, it could be so good. And just wall in the berries as well. Make it awkward for Andy. I'm loving the start for Dogao. And this is the risk you take on Socotra. You are hoping that you could take some hunts. You're hoping you can get some Vil fights in. You don't know how things are going to play out. It's not quite as strategic, this map, as it is super execution and RNG based early. So I think Socotra has actually worked out better for Dogao so far than for Andy.
I would think so as well. Really solid opening. And the eagle kill is obviously so big. 4 on wood by Dogao. Oh, that's going to be an early barracks play then.
Could be. Could also be for a mill, I suppose. But yeah,
Okay.
I think Goths are... I know that a big reason that people pick Goths on this map is because Goths is not a civ that you usually rate very high on your draft. So it's after you pick a couple of your strong civs, Goths feels like a good leftover option. But honestly, I think they're top 3 on this map with the hunt lasting longer. They're so good.
By the way, guys, don't do it like Dogao is doing it here. If you're getting lame with the deer, finish one zebra first and then go for the next one. Because now the rotting time for all 4 is basically the maximum.
Oh.
But if you finish one, rotting is basically finished earlier. Ooh,
Also,
that was a nice quick ball.
Also, don't attack Andy's villager and not pay attention to it, because Andy will wall you in like he just did. But it's not like he walled them in fully, so Dogao's been able to get away. No big deal. But yeah, so you're saying take one zebra at a time?
Yeah.
Got it.
And then you get overall more food out of it.
Okay.
Kind of the same logic why you take one sheep at a time.
Yep. Weak scout for Dogao. He's kept his scout alive. Andy losing his eagle is something he's going to be kicking himself for, because the eagle scout can heal up in the TC.
Yeah.
So he could have saved that and healed it up, and he could be applying pressure with the eagle either now or later. Wasn't able to do that. And we'll see if he's going to reach feudal. I feel like he's just going to have the resources to click feudal. Dogao also hasn't clicked up yet. Res collected is slightly better for Dogao, but I mean slight. And you would expect him to have a bit more food here because of the Goth bonus.
It might be a bit more because he obviously still has some food in his hands at the front. Yeah.
Well, there's that.
Solid opening for the go.
And yeah, and then you see how much food he has available. So he still has 1 goat underneath his TC, or 1.5, plus the 100 food that's coming in from the zebra. So he clicks up to feudal age faster. He's in a really nice position with his eco setup to do some damage here. And he's going to go barracks in the middle of the map on that hill. And Andy hasn't clicked up yet. This could be awkward for Andy to defend.
Andy also no good mining camp for him, right? Or no good gold.
Yep.
Could wall maybe a bit to the left side in front of the gold there. But even sends a low HP one out. Even the mining camp, not the spot I would have chosen.
Yeah, we'll see. He doesn't have vision on anything, right? So you could expect some potential man-at-arm pressure, but you sometimes just, at least what I've seen in other Socotra games is sometimes players would just open to feudal and go for a range to start. So Andy doesn't even see the wood line to the north of his house wall here, so he doesn't know exactly where he can wall. I think he wants to drop a barracks here, and Dogao's senses something's up.
Villager just randomly clicking, spamming that APM.
It really needs to get the wood here. He's probably annoyed, and he's probably scared now that he sees Dogao. I mean, Dogao sees the barracks. Do you go for the barracks or do you go for the gold? I guess he doesn't know about the gold. So yeah, you got to go for that barracks.
Yeah. Okay, reasonable wall now. Ooh.
That wall's not going down, Nilly. That wall is not happening, which means the barracks could be denied. Man-at-Arms is 20 seconds away. Dogao happy to fight with the Vills instead of tower here. I really like this, because the only thing Andy's going to fight back with is his villagers. Barracks goes up. Dogao
Villager
blocking maybe with the front Vill. Andy knows it. A nice save from Andy. Saves the villager. Has his barracks up so he can now follow with an archery range. But he doesn't have the wood for it yet.
Oh, and archer range, not at the craziest spot now, right? I think Andy will simply give up that mill. We'll try to get to like 6 farmers and then just play an archer skirm defense.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Now, obviously, not having the berries does set you back, and Dogao has his berries. We have a pause now. And Dogao has invested a lot into this, but he was able to get the double bid-axe upgrade. So
that's nice.
In the game versus Leary Daniel yesterday, we saw Dogao, I guess his game froze, and he couldn't see his own messages for a second. But yeah, we saw the man-at-arm player not be able to get the double bid-axe upgrade, and eventually not having that really hurt the economy there.
Game feels a bit laggy. If Dogao is thinking about a tower, where do you want to build it?
That's a great question. I mean, if you wanted a tower before, it would have been to deny the berries. You've kind of already done that. I wouldn't hate between the archer range and the house, because it denies farm space. And it makes it awkward for the range to be utilized. That's a bit of a weird tower spot.
Okay, thinks better of it.
Should you not outpost here first, though, just so you can see stuff?
Yeah, like he doesn't know about the third gold.
Yeah.
This is such a weird tower in no man's land.
I mean, it does protect. It's weird, but it's not, because it does also protect that stone. And Andy, if he allows this tower to go up, would not have access to any more stone, and Dogao will have access to stone.
Okay, tower at 77%. Uh-oh, pulling the villagers.
Yep.
Oh, and Dogao doesn't want to finish this tower with 85%?
Yeah, it felt like it was close enough to maybe complete it there and make Andy work for it. So Andy's held on here. Aztecs seen as very strong against the Goths, very strong against all civilizations if they get going. And Dogao falling off. Andy defense. Good army numbers from him. And now maybe some question marks for Dogao. It's like, okay, you picked Goths. The hunt bonus is gone. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah. Nothing really going on for you anymore. Man-at-arm bonus, you won't use that one. No hunt. What is the next bonus that Goths get? 210 population, right?
Yeah, and that,
Everything
that
else
is the
is gone.
downside. You know, that is why the aggression needs to really pan out. And it was just really patient play from Andy, where he just said, okay, take my berries. It's fine. Reminds me of a little bit like Leary yesterday. It's okay. Farming ski. Farm away. Make range units. That's what he's done. Dogao, though, completes that tower. Would love to see it be walled in. Walling that in is crucial here. And he's going to... I don't know if he knows that Andy is using the market so heavily right now, but he's going to have his work cut out for him to beat Andy to the castle age the way this is going.
Andy does not know about the opening below the gold. He thinks this might be simply the edge of the map.
Ooh, that's pretty bad. Yeah, it's true. But, I mean, neither does Dogao. Dogao doesn't even know the gold is there.
Yeah.
So, as...
But he kind of has to know in the sense that he sees the other gold and scout at the top.
Well, yes, but it's Socotra, so you might not think about it like a normal game. And also, he sees a lot of skirms from Andy. And he hasn't seen an eagle. So there's a world where if he sees the market from Andy and he sees heavy skirms, he actually thinks right now my opponent doesn't have gold. I think you should be outposting, though. You don't have to walk far to outpost, and he should be able to have an idea, but it's tricky.
I think people on this level should know the amount of golds that you are
that you
getting
get,
on.
yeah. No, I mean, that's fair. There should be another 4-tile gold available. Nilly, you say that, and I agree with you. There's been a couple things this season that have made me want to pull my hair out of things that people should know. We, of course, not really talking about the players who've made it this far, though, right? Dogao's done really well. Andy's done really well. They've been very capable all season long, so...
Also, often do you realize, like, on Arabia, for example, you have 3 open gold spots and feel like, oh god, my map is so bad. And sometimes you just look back at other games that you played and you see your opponent had 3 gold spots and you weren't really abusing it.
Yep. And Dogao has not used a market yet. That's incorrect, sorry. He just used the market a couple seconds ago. But he is not on the way up. Both players are making range units. Dogao did take out the barracks, which eliminates the eagle switch from Andy. But I think everyone knows what Andy wants to make in Castle Age.
9 villages on gold. And going fully for scums. So yeah, indications are clearly there.
How many do we see? Do we see 2 or 3 or 4 even?
Monks or monasteries?
Well, I hope it's more than monks. I'm thinking monasteries. Like, he might need a siege workshop. I think the safe play is to open with the siege workshop too.
He has so much wood. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2 monasteries and a siege workshop.
Yeah. It's still open in the back.
And he's housed.
Oh, yeah.
That's 2 houses in a row.
Nice shot there from Dogao. I mean, Dogao taking out the barracks and now taking out the houses has been good value from the situation here. Is putting Andy under pressure. Andy has given up some map control in order to get this Castle Age done. Still housed for Andy. He doesn't know yet because he's not actually trying... Well, no, he is trying to produce skirms. And he has to add another barracks. Wow.
Interesting. House will be broken at the top.
Dogao's getting...
Andy's underreacting.
Well, maybe Dogao doesn't truly think he can do damage there if he goes through. Dogao 7 kills and 4 deaths here. Make it 8 and 4 deaths. Man-at-Arms get through. Dogao's going to dive underneath the TC. He may have been trying to go through the opening the Man-at-Arms are in, but the pathing took him that way. And very awkward opening for Andy. Everything's very, very awkward as he goes for a barracks and no monasteries. I'm shocked.
So am I. Maybe he feels like he doesn't really have the spot where he wants to build them, doesn't want to build them behind his farms. Now the first monastery.
Yeah. Honestly, when you lose the barracks, I think you just got to give up on it, especially against Goths, making Eagles. Dogao's actually seen the barracks now, so Dogao actually might be expecting there to be quite a bit of barracks behind. But actually, now that I say it, when Dogao went in, he saw the siege workshop in the back. That's really helpful scouting here.
Yeah, and that might decrease the chances of a crazy suicidal castle, because Dogao has the resources to build one, is sending villagers forward. It could be something next to the stone of Andy here, but the mangonel is out already.
Yeah. Maybe you just place... I feel like the middle hill is so valuable. Oh, boy. Okay. Here we go. I mean, it's a Kocha, right? A lot of aggression in Dark Age, and then everything in early Castle Age matters the most. And Dogao's got Andy in a really awkward spot over here, but he loses all of his skirms. Dogao, what are you doing with your army, bro?
What army? One mangonel, 11 kills.
Did Dogao go over there to distract from the castle going up, you think?
Not impossible. Yeah. Wanted to have the mangonel pulled away.
Oh, man. Well, but, like, he's going to need something against the monks in the siege, Nilly. The castle will go up. Yes, that will be awkward for Andy to deal with, but Andy could move around and go to Dogao's eco, where he's pretty open. He's dropping stables now to go light cav.
Okay, yeah, Huskarl's certainly not an option here. I think this castle is not for unit production. Maybe Petard, but Huskarl's just way too bad against monks.
Light cav's so good, though. If he had 6 light cav right now, he might win the game. He's going to be on 2
How
in a
can you
second.
afford? Yeah, how can you afford 6 light cav? Oh, 2 stables already.
Yeah.
It's a solid setup.
And, like, Andy only has 2 monks, right? We've seen Andy convert quote-unquote counter units if he just has the numbers. We've seen Aztecs do that because of the HP, but Andy's actually dropping TC number 2, which is a little uncommon on this map. But he figures he has to expand away from this, and he knows the threat of light cav is there. I love the outpost.
I love the gate.
Can he fully gate in the siege to attack the stables?
I think it's too far away.
Yeah, he'd need it
needs to be
closer. And the light cav come out.
Oh,
Light
that's
cav
brilliant.
are here. There's no real support for the mangonels. You got to take the monks before the siege here, though, Dogao. Take the monks, you get the siege anyways. Oh! Still not bad for Dogao, all things considered, but it could have been much better for him had he not lost his light cap to that epic shot from Andy.
Yeah, really nice. 3 seconds before Sanctity. If Andy, or like if Dogao attacks a tiny bit later, he might get even less.
Yeah. Gate's still going up, which is, I'm sure, intimidating for Dogao. And Dogao really needs food eco. He's got farms, but might even want to consider buying food to get forging and to make more light cav here. I think it's worth it.
Tower left-hand side denied, skirms all killed, and he has to be happy with how those engagements are going for him.
Yeah, interesting tower from Dogao. I guess he noticed the situation there. No easy access to stone for Andy. He does have that area next to the range from Dogao where he could take stone, but he's going to be in trouble if he doesn't get his own castle potentially. And look at this quick walling from Andy. Great reaction. As Dogao comes over, Dogao wanted to snipe the siege, but he house walls it in. He gates it off as well. That's sick.
Oh, let's take a look. Huskarl takes some damage. Do we see a quick wall? Mangonel. Oh! Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful, which means the tower can't go up yet. Dogao's going to try again. He's actually out of stone, though. Dogao goes in with light cav on the other side, though. He's going to find some kills on the monk. He sees the next monk as well. There's 2 of them. He's going to go in, and he tries to block. The pathing's awkward, and conversions happen for Andy.
Oh, so good. So good for Andy. And he gets to light cav now. Another light cav arrives. Monk count pretty much reset, but 5 more in the queue.
Yeah, you know, at the same time, though, while Andy's arguably even got the lead now with 2 TCs, Dogao's doing a really good job at making this messy. He is still going to try a tower. He's got a light cav into the eco. Like, he's kind of everywhere with his units right now. Andy's just done an excellent job to still keep pushing here.
Oh, God. And another defense at the left side. Those villagers lost just hurt so much. The left-hand side attack for Dogao really not working out.
Yeah, and I think you need a big wave of light cav now. It's like the tiny little attacks on the sides aren't working out. The next natural way for this to play out would be an all-in play from Andy at your base. Can you get the Lightcap mass together here if you're Dogao? And can you kill those monks? And Aztec monks, they have always been seen as overpowered. You know, they have always been strong, regardless of, you know, how monk meta has been. It's just getting the extra HP on monks is ridiculous. And Redemption's in. Oh, no. Dogao could start to lose his buildings here soon. He needs to find an answer to this now.
Take a look at the approach. Lightcav out earlier than in the migration game. Spearman a bit out of position.
Yeah, a couple monks go down. Andy's units still here, standing, still hoping to get conversions. Where are Dogao's Lightcav? Dogao's trying to break into the woodline with the Lightcav. He needs the Lightcav here soon. He's got some, though. More attacks on monks. Andy's finding it difficult to get the conversions. If he wasn't Aztecs, he would have lost all these monks. He might lose them anyways. This is so tricky.
Too many monks in the back. I think he will get conversions again.
Maybe just fall back and wait. Fall back. Don't give Andy these conversions. This is so clowny, man. This is what Andy wanted, though, right? He wanted a messy game. He's got it here. And he wanted to be on monks with Aztecs.
Oh man, what a beautiful game again. Those two are delivering. Huskar raid, not the most important thing. Villager count, extremely even.
Yeah. Still feels like the snowball has to happen for Andy, right? And he could easily get it. Dogao can find opportunities, though. There's some monks. They're being sniped in different areas. I think this comes down to the fact that Dogao continues to try and raid. But Andy converts the Lightcap in his own base. So he's paying attention to that, too.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. And we have 6 Lightcav now for the Aztecs player.
Oh, man. And it's going to be about the same for Dogao. And Dogao's woodline was actually getting raided by the Lightcap that Andy converted. Big swoop in, though, for Dogao. It feels like this could be over if he loses all the Lightcap. Can he kill the monks? Oh, God. This is so brutal. He's losing all his Lightcap.
Oh god, and this will trigger more discussion in the Balanced Discord about monks. This just feels so unfair for Dogao.
Still, no forging for Dogao, right? Lots of gold he's not able to spend. There's arguments to be made. It could have maybe had an extra upgrade or two or a few extra Lightcav, but his stables have been producing this whole time. I'm expecting villagers to come forward from Andy any moment.
Oh, 605 stone. Where will he build it? He will get so much control over gold again. The stables could be taken out. Monks going for it again. That's quite ambitious, though. Loses another one next to the stables.
Andy's abandoning his starting eco, by the way. There's a tower behind the woodline on the left and now in front. So he's just like, I'll take your eco. And how do you stop that castle if you're Dogao?
You don't?
I don't think you do. Yeah. I mean, you would take a fight to try and stop it, and then you'd lose more Lightcav because there's too many monks. These things have 55 HP. That is 5 less HP than the Lightcap that's attacking here.
Andy's gold ran out, and now the villagers automatically going for another gold spot, which is next to a castle, though.
Oh my god, that's huge! And it's kind of hard to see right now. And he's also has to micro his monks. He's not going to notice that, nearly. He will convert the Lightcap, and Dogao still might not realize the situation, and never mind, Andy's noticed, but what in the world?
So sick. And now the Lightcap raid.
Yeah, seriously, your eco's wide open to Lightcap now. Oh. Well, Andy needed a response. Both games have been close, right?
Score is so misleading. How is Dogao ahead in score? He's behind in builds, behind in military, behind in map control?
Maybe, I don't know. It can't be scouting on Socotra.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, does Andy makes the Lotto Warriors here when he converts the stables? It would actually make sense. It's better than Lightcap for raiding. Nope.
Stables deleted.
Dogao just deletes the stables. Okay, so Dogao can make a castle soon. Like, if he gets a castle down to the right of his TC, he would deny Andy's gold. Actually, Andy would have no gold then.
Oh, but now he can't build it anymore.
Yeah, but I think you still have to. Like, I think that's your only way back.
A defensive castle next to a starting town center might be the only option.
Yeah, and the TC's getting shot down, and there's so many monks, and there's going to be siege as well. He is making a new TC, but Andy is just all over it, and Dogao maybe staying in this game a bit longer because of the score. Dogao made 40 Lightcav in this game. Andy made 38 monks. Lightcav are apparently a counter to monks, Nilly. and Dogao couldn't get the job done. What a comeback from Andy.
Yeah. This map, it is so small. The distances between the town centers, so small. And that's why monks are so good, right? The only weakness of monks is mobility.
Yep.
And Lightcav, it just feels so underwhelming then.
It honestly, like, I know that the monks won the end of the game, but honestly, I felt like Dogao was one attack upgrade or like 2 or 3 additional light cap in various moments from snowballing it. He was so close in some instances. And, it's tricky because I think the reason he didn't have all of his light cap together was because he was trying to raid the back of Andy's base and make it messy for Andy, which normally is good against monk players because you hit them at their eco, they react, and then they lose their monks on the front. That's the idea. I wonder, though, when he had the 3 light cav in the back, and it was only like 5 monks for Andy on the front, we hadn't seen Redemption yet, so the HP was a bit lower. I wonder if there was potential there for Dogao, because had he killed some more monks, eventually he would have a castle where Andy now has a castle. He would have control of gold, and I think Andy, with very few spearmen made in this game, left himself very vulnerable there. But, he has shown to have faith in the power of the Wololo, right? Dogao's now got to respond in this game, and it'll be on his home map, Lands Madness, which should be a good time. But, here we are, game number 4. I have always felt like one of the best civilizations on this map is the civilization that Dogao has. Are we going to potentially get a game 5 here, Nilly? Feels like we could. Chinese for Dogao on his home map, Lands Madness. FreakinAndy, though, with the Franks, a civ that could be vulnerable against the Chinese, but is really good at what it does with the eco and the stable units.
Yeah, this will be the play, right? We have seen it before. Wasn't it the Balts versus FreakinAndy game?
Yep.
Where Balts simply won with Chinese. So Andy, let's see how his approach is going to be this time.
Yeah, we do have a pause here. I'm just going to quickly double check. It's not anything I can help with here. Okay, I'm being told check Andy's map, potential bug. Okay, so what Andy has seen is the woodline on the back that should be spawning, and it didn't spawn. We granted a re for this before. We're going to grant a re for this as well here, Nilly.
Okay.
Game number 4 here, Chinese versus Franks. What we just said, because we had to do a re here, Nilly, was that this is a matchup that Andy will be familiar with because he was on the losing side of this matchup when he was Chinese in his final round of group stage. So we both feel like the Chinese is a superior civilization, but the Franks are Franks, right? And it can be super clean with them, with the forage bonus and with the farm bonus and the strong stable units here.
And we simply feel Chinese should have a 2.5 villager advantage. Right now it will be at 1.5 till we get Loom. And that means more resource income in Feudal Age. Dogao probably needs to play a bit defensively early Feudal Age. We've seen Chinese players go for some spearmen there, try to match the scout numbers slowly but surely. I would be surprised if we see a massive Feudal Age play compared to maybe other civilization matchups.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see how Dogao wants to play this. Back berries, back gold, very good for him. Wood situation, definitely not as good. It doesn't have as many wood lines to work with. And he's got a big chunk on the left-hand side. He's going to chop one of the smaller wood lines, which I feel like could produce some problems for him later, but he might go for double lumber camp.
Not unreasonable with Franks, right?
Yeah.
You save all the wood because you don't need to go for the farm upgrades.
Is there a world where you don't open scouts here as Chinese if you know Franks will go scouts? Like, play in towards a spear opening and a delayed scout rush or delayed archers, maybe?
That's a bit of the MBL opening, right? 4 spearmen into then stable.
Yeah.
And then add some scouts. It's not completely unreasonable. I think if he had a worse map, that could be an option. Here it just feels like everything fits in one screen, right?
Yeah.
So 3 spearmen should be able to cover everything. And therefore, I think a stable opening makes sense.
Yeah, and the thing that I feel is an issue if you don't open with offensive army as well is you give the Franks player the opportunity to take the extra berries without having to work hard. You usually are going to just be using all of your speed to chase your opponent, and you're not going to end up killing their scouts because the scouts cannot run spears. So I would expect offensive play. Dogao has played Chinese 1,000,001 times, I'm sure. And he also played Chinese on Lands Madness in the group stage in just one game. And it was a game against Miguel. So Miguel struggled a little bit this season compared to what we've seen from him in the past. I'm not sure if that really tells us too much. I think every player should be beastly with Chinese, regardless of previous performances.
Yeah, I think so as well. Dogao, he needs to win 2 games in a row. Otherwise, it is over for him in his TTL run. Andy, still Fractal in the back, and still some early Civilization picks for him as an option. You said Italians. There could be quite nice for him. Dogao will play Pop 21. Andy is going up with Pop 18. Should be an early uptime for Andy. No surprise.
Yeah, and Andy is going to go double Lumber Camp, which surprises me on 18 Pop. Because I, on 18 Pop, am never going double Lumber Camp on Arabia. But this is different because you don't need as much on food at the moment because of all the food that you got in before, in theory. Again, in theory, I still feel like he's going to actually have an issue with his barracks and his stable timing, but we'll see.
Yeah, might be a bit delayed. I agree with you. This is a relatively economic approach. Maybe even considers to push another tier. Nah, now he goes for the scouting. Pretty late scouting from both players, but what will you really see? And also, it's so much better to scout in Feudal Age because it's not that easy, because there are no natural indicators where your opponent is on this map, and that's why you see still both people on the way to Feudal and both pushing more deer.
Yeah, well, they just know what the opponent's going to do, right? This map is just so commonly going to be scouts that there should be no surprises. And it's also, it's actually a matchup too, where if you don't go for scouts, you're playing against your Civ's flow, right? Like, maybe an argument with a couple other civs you might see on Lands Madness to possibly mix something else in, like Malians, I think could benefit more from an early barracks and the militia shenanigans. But with Franks, you want to be going stable units and farms, and with Chinese, you want to be doing the same, usually.
And that's why we see the route for Andy. Stable positioning, readjusted, and stable timing. Very reasonable out of him, and now the stable on Dogao's side as well. No surprises.
Yeah. Now they're going to have to, of course, determine where they can attack here in a second, as they're going to encounter each other. There goes Dogao. Dogao, Spearman, needs to dodge it. I don't know if he's paying attention. Yep, he is. He goes right by it. Nice play. We'll see the barracks. We'll see the stable. We'll not be surprised by that, obviously. And Andy's going to waste some HP attacking the villager there from Dogao. A little wasteful, but also sometimes that's like a mindset. It's like, hey, I'm ready to fight.
And also it puts a bit of threat, like Dogao either he needs a quick wall or keep the spearman there, and then maybe forces one more spearman than necessary.
Okay, but the thing I picked up on Andy in the past is he does some small wall. And I feel like a player like Dogao would punish it. Like, he just makes a crap ton of spears. Look at Dogao. He's like, okay, we wall in that wood line. We go to the other wood line. We wall in that. It feels like the safe play and that you should be doing it, but just haven't seen from Andy yet.
Actually, a set of Dogao against the Max is something I always gave my coaches to showcase how important quick walling is. Because the Max played like Drush at KOTD every single game, and Dogao was always quick walled, and therefore had a great run against the Max.
Or you mean pre-walled in this case, right?
Pre-walled.
Yeah, pre-walled. Yeah, Dogao used to do this thing as well where he wouldn't even fully build the wall. And he would just go for like 50% on it. But yeah, now Andy's going to do it. But you see, as he does that, he ran into the TC fire there. So I just feel like, it actually has become harder to get the walls down now. Obviously not as skilled as Andy, but the only critique I could ever give him on Land Madness is you just have to do that before your enemy's there.
Well, this was maybe the ideal time, right? Because he forced the reaction, he forced the scouts to be active, and he still walled in time.
Yeah.
So theoretically, it actually was really good.
Yeah, that's true. He's got the farms too. He's got the berries. He's got the spears where he needs on the berries, and he got a couple hits with his spearman here. That's 2 hits on that scout, and then one of the scouts earlier from Dogao got hit. And this is where neither player's really able to find damage with their scouts nearly, but you need to have the scout coverage to protect the next important resource, which is going to be the gold. And Dogao switches over to the gold now, which indicates to me that he'll probably go for an archer range.
Interesting.
Oh, he
How
already
many
has the archery
spearmen
range.
Andy is going for? Yeah, archery range already out. Archer production started.
Is this Dogao knowing that Andy loves to make lots of spearmen?
Maybe in his analysis, yeah, could be one of the results for sure.
Yeah, it happened in their first game on Costa Mountain, but if he watched through the Rex, he will have seen Andy on 8 and 9 spearmen every single Lands Madness game. And he always delays the scout production as well. A couple archers with spearmen combined could be devastating for Andy right now.
Yeah, so true. And you don't need that many archers, right? 3 archers guarded by 3-4 spearmen.
Yep.
And that's kind of an army that Andy will struggle a lot to clear up.
The thing that will be tricky is you have to move forward with enough spearmen so if you get spotted by the scouts that you don't lose everything. But, I mean, there's just not a large group of scouts right now, and Dogao's so good with the small walls.
But he needs to finish them. Uh-oh.
True.
This could be the worst timing ever. No, spearmen are still there.
Yeah, spearmen are still there. He knows that scout is weak as well. What a great play from Dogao. Just chips away at the HP. 30 seconds of TC idle time this whole time. It's been super smooth. And Andy doesn't know about the range, Nilly. He knows about the gold, but he doesn't know that range has been up for some time. The archer timing is going to be awful for him here.
But he saw 7 or 8 villagers on gold, right? And he knows, okay, you built that many scouts. Castle Age is not on the menu. There has to be an archer range.
Yeah, so he sees the range. He doesn't see the archers. He's kind of patrolling on his other berries, just waiting because he feels the most vulnerable there. He's got a nice defensive setup, I have to say. 7 scouts for him with more HP because he's Franks. He sees the archers. Great job from Andy to adapt to this. Feels like a time for either player to maybe get upgrades on their scouts as well. Like to see it from Dogao. Oh man, this is so much pressure from Dogao, who's maintained his eco lead. The archers will push the spearmen away. Andy's under a lot of pressure. There's armor. Quick wall from Andy. Oh man, this is what Land Madness turns into, right? Big feudal age armies. You could wall a little bit, but it's hard for you to fully protect yourself. And Andy needs army right now.
Oh, really nice play. And Bloodlines coming in as well, something that Andy can't get. And all of a sudden, Chinese player, the one with the HP advantage on his scouts.
Yeah, Bloodlines would be huge. 20 seconds from that. And feels like if Dogao fights with Bloodlines, you have the better engagements. That said, there's more spearmen here for Andy. So if Dogao isn't good with his archer play, then he could still end up losing this fight. Oh man, double stable for Andy as he's now going for forging. He hasn't lost a villager yet. We have not seen a unit die yet.
Wow. That's pretty sick. 22 against 19 military right now. Andy just waiting for the perfect time to jump. Spearmen should not die here for Dogao.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, don't quick wall your vills. Just fight it. If anything, if they're attacking villagers, it's okay because then your army's attacking their army, Andy. But the villagers are protected for now. Dogao's been so patient here, Nilly. He's been so patient, and he takes a really good fight here. He's using his archers against the spears. His scouts and his spearmen are on the scouts from Andy, and Andy might be devastated. Dogao has a lost unit!
Stick 11-0. What are we witnessing?
What? That fight was ridiculous for Dogao. Oh my goodness. Now, obviously, he's going to take some losses, but the patience from Dogao to find the right fight, and finally Andy broke, just ridiculous. Of course, more villagers could go down. I also think we should say, well done, Andy, not to lose more villagers yet.
Well, he will now start losing them for sure, and Dogao is even flirting with Castle Age behind this while Andy has to play Feudal Age all in to even try to defend.
Wow, that fight was ridiculous. 10-0 KD to start the fight. Obviously, that fight was why he won the game. It didn't go on much longer. We did not see Castle Age. And we will get a 5th game here in this best of 5 round of 12 matchup. My goodness, that was sick from Dogao.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And simply didn't underproduce Spearman, right? That's what we feared. If he only has like 3 Spearmen, the fight is just so much better for Andy.
And I wish I had the stats on it. And actually, I think we should even go back. You know, the game was so short. I just want to show it. I got to slow-mo the fight a little bit and just follow the archers. Because there's a temptation here, I think, to almost like patrol into the fight and let your upgrades do the work for you. But the whole time, he's microing those archers against the spearmen. I will say, though, that Andy just took the worst possible fight as well. Like, he could have pulled back there, and he kind of forced the engagement when his spears were exposed on the other side.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by his engagement as well. I think maybe even adding more spearmen and scouts might have been an option.
Yeah.
He didn't constantly produce spearmen anymore. It felt like 8 is enough. But if you face that many scouts and spearmen, maybe producing more could have been an option.
Yeah, and I think, but a lot of that, any question that you ever send a player's way on a bad fight at their base is because of the pressure, right? You feel like if you don't fight soon, you die. And sometimes you take fights that then make you die. So, and the sick thing about that too from Dogao is, let's say he doesn't win that fight in the same way. Let's say he only kills 2 villagers and then loses all of his army. He's going to be up to Castle Age minutes faster. His eco balance is perfect to go into Knights and Crossbows. So Dogao was bound to probably finish that game regardless, just because of how sick he macroed. We know Viper waits for the winner of this. Who will win game number 5? We've got Dogao in the blue. He's gone for the Portuguese, and this is the home map for Andy. This map is similar to Socotra, which could be very lamey and messy at the start, but Andy is not going to find the elephant from Dogao just yet. And both players are sending their villagers nice and early to chop through the wood line here nearly, which is such an important part of Fractal.
Yeah, map that we have seen created for RMS Cup, random map cup that was having all new maps, basically new designed, and some of them made it into other tournaments because they were liked so much. Those trees on the outside, only 50 wood, and you have to chop through a minimum of 3 layers to get to the outside. The specialty is that you can dock block, meaning you can build a dock at the top, and basically it goes to the edge of the map, and the opponent cannot get over there. The problem is it's only 1 tile thick on the outside to walk through. So if somehow you are late with your chop through and the opponent gets there, you can actually get blocked.
Yes. Now, I think the last 3 Socotra games, we have seen one player send lots of villagers forward to try and steal elephants or lame, and then they neglected to get the 2 villagers early on the other side of the lumber camp. So this is the first Socotra game in a bit where it's relatively even as far as the chopping is concerned. So I don't think either player is going to be able to stop the other one from getting through. Andy's got an approach, though. He's bringing a villager this whole way to wall the other side of the lumber camp, which is actually quite smart with delaying the wood income for Dogao. So Dogao won't be able to, in theory, make the most of this lumber camp.
Mm-hmm. Basically forces Dogao to build another lumber camp further back on the left-hand side. Not the worst thing ever, but certainly will be tricky when it comes to efficiency with only those 2 villagers there.
Yeah, now Dogao can chop straggler trees for now. He's getting loom, so he's thinking about fighting this off. Andy did not get loom, so a little risky. Andy could lose this villager if Dogao chooses to fight.
Wow, even triple layer palisades.
Yeah, he's really going crazy. Now he's obviously spending wood, and then that villager's not collecting resources, and that villager has no loom. Andy, quick walls are needed here. This villager could go down very quickly without loom. A risk that Andy felt was worth taking? What?
Wow, he's so good. He is so good with this.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, if Andy wins this, can you imagine a Fractal game between Andy and Viper? Neither player will get loom because both players are so insane with their quick walls.
Okay, he is now getting loom. Tries to get damage done on the scout. Dogao, oh, he didn't get the memo.
Oh, and Dogao loses his scout, and now his villager could be exposed, and Andy's probably going to take the fight and then just go quick wall this vill last second?
He doesn't need to. He can just run.
Yeah, I mean, Dogao should be going home right now. I think Dogao has written that villager off for dead at this point.
Oh, what a big win for Andy. 2-0 KD before 6 minutes?
And Dogao is not a crazy quick waller, and yeah, doesn't happen. That is very relatable attempt from Dogao, the quick wall. And so now Dogao, hoping to chop through to Dock, has to chop wood on the stragglers. Andy can send more villagers to the lumber camp. And Andy is Italian, so it's cheaper to go up to the next stage. It is also a great civilization to have fishing. So I like the start for Andy. Dogao will be very uncertain on what Andy's going to be doing. Just won't be able to scout anything.
Why does Dogao have that much wood? Oh, we have a mill for Andy. Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah. Andy's, I think, realized that he doesn't have the dock yet, so he might as well spend his wood. The positive for Dogao is you do get a little bit of wood from the berries, so that's nice.
Well, that's why he's going for the mill now. And now, not even the chance to push in his deer here. And Andy, just crazy. Has 2 kills and still 27 HP on his scout.
Yeah, well, he did, and now he's attacking. And, he just paused because of lag. Maybe sometimes when you pause, it's tough to for things to click mentally. At least it is for me. Dock position going to happen for both players. Andy is walking past the dock that's already been placed. I assume that was a shift queue misclick.
Potentially.
He's going to dock, but will then have the villager trapped on Dogao's side. Dogao also going to dock block. Is walking away from the shorefish.
He is not. Is he dock blocking? He doesn't know.
Yeah, he does.
Now he is. Yeah. Okay, confirmed.
Yeah, I think maybe Dogao was debating there because he hasn't scouted what Andy's done, right? And sometimes when villagers come forward, that player isn't through yet with the chop. So because Dogao didn't scout and then he doesn't have the scout, maybe there was a part of him that felt he could just walk through and wall behind the wood line. So it's actually good for him that he didn't end up doing that. I don't love the dock position, though, because he can't take a shorefish with that vill.
Mm-hmm. And the deep fish is further away as well.
Yeah.
So this one is significantly worse when it comes to the fishing efficiency.
Yeah, and cheaper fishing ships for Andy. And Andy, happy to bring forward some villagers. Place some palisades around the berries. Now going to try and wall in the stone. Dogao kind of struggling for food at the moment. We'll see Andy's villager. And Andy just pushing in the zebra back at home.
What an interesting scenario. I think Dogao needed a second dock. I'm a bit surprised that he didn't get it yet.
It just doesn't have the wood. He did make another lumber camp, and he is not chopping through to the water with that, but to the corner where expanding could be really important.
Well, he has villagers still at the top, right? He can simply build another dock there.
Yeah. He can pass through at any time. Very good point. All right, so, I think the bonuses of the Italians have been utilized very nicely here. Cheaper to go to the next stage when resources are tough to come by, the cheaper fishing ships. What I've seen winning players do on this map in Andy's position, and Andy's not going to do this, they simply just wall in feudal, and they go double dock fish boom behind it all. So he's sending a lot to wood right now, but the approach that Dogao's going for is, I think, what we mentioned. He just wants to fish boom away behind all of this and not have to deal with anything on land.
But where's the second dock? It's so late in comparison.
Yeah.
But Andy's not properly producing out of his docks.
Yeah, well, I think Andy's building up towards land or something. Like, he's on stone right now. And he might be tempted to tower rush, maybe?
Probably one tower at the top. That's a very common thing because you're guaranteed, that they will be vulnerable there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know exactly what your opponent's doing. Andy does at least have the scout, though. I think, honestly, in Andy's position, he might feel like he's in a really good spot on water, and he might be expecting aggression from Dogao. And maybe that's why he had gone to stone for maybe defensive towers. But no, he's going to go forward. He's going to tower the berries there. Dogao cannot counter tower because he's not in feudal age yet. But Dogao's adding tons of fish behind. So you can kind of get away with losing some of these berries. I don't think that's the best of towers for Andy right now.
Blocks a bit of the stone as well. Maybe he scouted the double stone.
Yeah, that could be part of it.
Wants to take it away, but you still always have 700 stone in the bag, so...
Yeah, you're right. There's always stone and gold back there, which Dogao's already on. So Dogao knowing the map really well. I know that it's been awkward for him since losing the scout and the villager, but while it took him time to get going with the fish, he's doing the right thing. Just full fish boom behind, and just kind of hope to skip out on any type of aggression here on land.
Maybe Andy is just thinking, okay, this is a setup tower.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be the one monk rushing.
Yep.
And it's obviously so much better if you already have the monasteries closer to the base of your opponent.
Well, think about it this way as well. If that tower is there, where is Dogao going to drop a castle to go organ guns? If Dogao will do that.
I actually think organ guns are not great if you expect Andy to play a triple monastery.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. In fact, I think organ guns are pretty crap in Castle Age now, in general. Because the mangonels as well, as we've established, just seem to wreck them. But It definitely is strong in the Imperial Age. Like, I think it's a weird spot balance-wise. We probably shouldn't talk about it, but I think those things are busted when they're elite now against standard units. Interesting approach, Dogao. He makes a tower, but he's not going to shoot Andy's tower down? It's a weird tower to place. And Andy, just one tower, is fish booming as well. Lots of outposts, lots of scouting. And he is on the way to Castle Age. So you're right. Like, that position right there with the tower might be a good little monk siege position.
Also,
Dogao with the quick wall on the outpost villager. And the outpost had to be deleted.
Okay. Gets that one. Also, if you have the tower, it kind of guarantees you the 3 relics that are always spawning in the center.
Yep. You know what I'm curious on? I'm curious on how this map will be played with 2 elephants. Instead of just one. Because the fish boom obviously is still important, right? But then there's a little bit more potential for some land pressure, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, we have basically never seen men-at-arms.
Yep. Man-at-arm tower could maybe been a possibility. Players don't really do that here. I love what Andy has done in this game. The outposting, so he won't be surprised by anything Dogao does. The tower for a bit of control in an important area on stone. He's been on stone himself. He's going to buy a bit more, and he's going to drop a forward castle here on those walls, and it will go up. There's no way Dogao can stop it.
Weird thing. I think Andy might actually play castle, 1 monastery, fast imp.
Feels natural, maybe with a fish boom. Cheaper to go to the Imperial Age as well with the Italians. I think something you would do in Dogao's position might be a defensive castle, right?
Defensive castle and fast imp behind it as well, yeah. I think castle edge units actually won't achieve a lot here.
We'll see what the gold count and food count looks like. Because right now for Andy, I'm not seeing a lot of gold being mined. Also, Andy still isn't chopping to the back corner. Well, that's not true. He is, but he's not like fully chopping through like Dogao. So Dogao could, if he pays attention, he could be through and he could run and expand his eco into that corner.
It is mainly gold, stone, and wood, though, so no natural food. He still has all of those resources, right? He doesn't need a second castle too quickly. So it is more like more resources, but it's not like he's freeing more tax for himself.
Res collected right now is super close. A bit more wood and food for Andy, a bit more gold and stone for Dogao. And I think Dogao's doing the right thing. I think that he correctly has read the situation, that this is going to be fast imp. The problem is, if it's fast imp v fast imp, Italians have the bonuses for that. But also, the Portuguese are not a bad fast imp civ if they have space for Fetorias.
This will be really close. Yeah, 1 monastery now for Dogao, which I think won't achieve anything, right? He can't pick up a single relic.
Yeah, feels natural maybe to have that monastery out there. Portuguese have cheap monks. He might be thinking it's a monk Trebor. Wow, they're going to click imp at like the same time here, I think.
Yeah, looks like it.
Oh, this is so good. It's in game 5. Winner moves on to the quarterfinals, who they of course could win the quarterfinal, move to the semi, move to the final, who knows. Obviously, with it being up against Viper, they are going to be the underdog, but still. Oh, look at the imp times! Look at the imp times! It's the exact same time!
Oh, and 13 on stone for Dogao. He wants to double down. He wants to get a second castle there.
I think he's completely read Andy like a book here. What a great call from Dogao to fall back, fish boom, which took some time to get going, but he's even fish trapping, which I think is really going to help him long term. So is Andy, though, so that's something else. But yeah, seriously. Now, I also really like the fletching choice because Andy's castle is doing damage to Dogao's castle.
Andy will be a bit confused. Typically, the relic spawns more in the center in that fractal head, no?
I don't know.
He gets the relic. No
but
worries.
I mean, he's not going to be confused on what Dogao's doing though, because he sees Dogao's monasteries with his outpost. So maybe Dogao should have built the monks further back. I don't know. Maybe they both know.
Tristan.
What?
An upgrade that feels so unnatural, but actually helps a lot here. Fletching.
Yeah,
the castle already will lose 400 HP.
Yeah, that's a treb shot.
Starts.
Yeah, the fletching damage from Andy here has already done a treb shot worth of damage, or will soon do that. That's huge.
And this could be masonry before imp. Oh boy, would I love that.
Yeah, cheaper university techs for the Italians. It does cost wood. So he's going to need to get that.
Doesn't have a lot of, yeah.
I think masonry is more important than chemistry. But chemistry feels like the natural play for both to maybe go for bombard cannons.
Okay, no university for Dogao.
But just monks and trebs. And 2 castles, though.
Will he go for the second castle, or is it Vittoria?
It could be to repair, too. If you make the Vittoria, it needs to be in the back corner. Do not build it directly behind this.
Yeah. Super far away.
Dogao's not really a Vittoria player. Dogao's villagers could get hit by the castle from Andy. I'm really surprised Dogao didn't click fletching. It's such a cheap upgrade, and it makes such a big difference here.
Second castle, no Vittorias.
Okay, so just full Trebor for Dogao. Kind of stop the monk production as well. Chemistry in for Andy, which means he can make bombard cannons, but just 1 castle for him. And any second that castle is not producing trebs for Andy is bad. And that there's quite a few seconds racking up there. I think Andy will lose his castle here.
Yeah, guaranteed. The question is, like, how many traps can he get out? I think getting 3 traps and trying to keep them alive is good enough.
Oh, man. Andy's through, by the way, into the south, so he could run if he needs to. This is
get a 4th
so close. Masonry's on the way now, so it was in queue after chemistry. Andy doesn't have any more villagers on stone, though, Nilly. This could be a real concern for him if he loses this castle. Dogao can outproduce trebs, and trebs with monks could beat the trebs from Andy and the cannons, depending on the engagement.
But then it might be block printing monks versus block printing monks, and I feel like Andy's micro could be a bit better there.
Yeah, it's true. Andy's going to be super pop locked here, though. He's already about to be housed, and he is placing some houses behind, but that will stop monk production and bombard cannon production. Castle's down. Super pop capped. It's really bad.
70 out of 50.
Oh!
Nice.
Oh, God. The bombard cannon went down to Dogao's treb. Dogao needs to buy stone to repair. He can't afford it. He's going to lose a castle. Wow. Is there anything more infuriating, by the way, than losing a bombard cannon to a treb like that? Oh, my God.
And your house. And you're still pop blocked, right?
Yep.
He still can't get it.
Yeah, he's still making houses behind. But the timings that Andy wanted to push with here kind of falling apart. And he's being stubborn with it with just 2 trebs. He's going to lose these trebs. Dogao's going to be okay.
I think so as well.
Uh-oh. Monks, though. Uh-oh. Monks. Dogao has clicked a lot of monks there. I'm seeing more little blue dots on red monks than red dots on blue monks. And Dogao getting good conversions.
Oh! Really good conversions.
He's like, how do you like it, Andy? I can do it too. Thanks for the idea. And the 1 treb from Andy is so important. If he could somehow take out the castle and then back away, I think he'd be okay with this. Oh, God. This is insane.
Bombard cannon. This time dodging those shots. Once you get a 3rd shot in.
Redemption's in. Bombard cannon gets converted. And it then dies.
No way!
Oh, God. I mean, that's bad, but good for Andy, because things could be so much worse if Dogao had that cannon. But right now, I'm preferring Dogao's position at the moment. It is still 3 trebuchets with the potential to make more against 1. And the monk war continues.
Oh, this is tricky. Italians not having a lot of bonuses right now. And Portuguese, they will build their monks cheaper.
Yeah, cheaper monks. Eco's similar. There's more blue monks than there are red monks. The monasteries are right here as well. So this could snowball really quickly. But again, we brought it up before. Is Dogao the type of player to be able to contest in a monk war? I'm worried for him here.
It looks reasonable for now. Conversion count 11 to 10. Neck and neck.
Yeah, villagers for Dogao coming to take the treb. He's sick of this. There's 14 monks for Andy. There's 8 for Dogao. So they have to somehow pay attention to which monks have faith and which monks do not. Treb will go down for Andy. Bringing the villagers is really smart for Dogao.
So 3 traps. Castle lives. Maybe the time for Vittoria behind this. Doesn't have any stone, though.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And good luck focusing on balancing your eco behind this. This is ridiculous. This is also very hard to cast, so we're doing our best here, folks. More monks
added
for Andy, and Lightcap upgrade makes sense for Dogao. I think you just have to be patient with it. You have to wait. You can't engage with 2. You've got to wait for more.
Thing is, no monk really had faith, right? Because you're constantly converting. So actually sending in a single one is already helping.
Dogao does have a lot of faith on his monks, though. Like, there's 4 monks right now that have faith. It's just, is he clicking consistently? Andy's got a couple as well.
So much faith.
Oh, man. I mean, Andy has more monks. And Dogao's like, screw it. I can't do it. I got to back up. I've got to get Heresy here. But Heresy is a huge upgrade in a monk war, Nilly. A huge upgrade. You just can't lose monks before Heresy, Dogao. You got to back up to your castle here.
Oh, that's another 3 gone.
Oh, geez. And now he's down to 6. Don't tell me Andy's got a chance. Andy has pulled off crazy comebacks on this map before, guys, when he should have been dead. And it's all on the back of, like, still not forgetting about the South and still not forgetting about that eco. Oh, man. So, can you, like, does Lightcap work against 20 monks and Imp with 12 range?
Oh, well, you need a lot of Lightcav. That's
Yeah.
why he's not sending in 4 now, right? The fight is kind of stopping. Condos aren't really helping too much. Those traps, even ambitious in some sense.
Yeah, I agree. There's going to be a cannon here. Dogao, he has a castle still to hold. You think he wants to use the Trebs against the monks here and be cheeky, but the Trebs need to back away. He's so lucky not to lose a trebuchet there. And Dogao now has time. Oh, he moves forward, immediately hears all the monks. And Andy is not dead yet. Nilly, you asked me between, like, game 3 and game 4, what do we do about monks? And Andy is a big part of monks being strong and monks being talked about in our scene right now, as Dogao has Heresy, but Dogao doesn't have enough monks.
Dogao, you have 5 more Lightcav in the queue. Wait for them. 13 makes so much more sense than 8.
But Heresy, right? The units won't switch sides. Dogao's still kind of getting conversions. The melee pathing's awful. The Lightcav are here. The counter to the monks. A bombard cannon was converted. Heresy? Is it working, Nilly?
It seems like it's barely not. I think most of the monks are surviving. Kondo's simply good enough for the defense here.
Yeah, seriously. Treb's still exposed for Dogao. There's a bombard cannon from Andy that's microing through this. A lot of Andy's monks have gone down. Behind this, though, Andy has 87 eco, and Dogao has 64 with no Fatorias.
Ooh, those Kondos surprisingly good in this fight. And now if everything is reset, monks become even more efficient.
Yeah. I'm just worried for Dogao's economy, right? He has not progressed here. He has not made progress. So if he's not making progress, and FreakinAndy has 91 eco versus 64, Andy is going to be able to stabilize and go into other things. He can make more condos. What? Like, a sick job. Like, to go for 1 TC play and turn it into 4 now with the food eco that's somehow behind this is so impressive from Andy. So well played.
So sick. And, well, monk conversions are continuing here. It just feels like it's now 16 against 6 military. No, okay, Dogao gets some conversions back again.
Man, if only Dogao had 1 or 2 Fatorias. It's like the thing with low eco pushes with Portuguese that we've seen on Zawal. We've seen so much over the last few years. It's just making use of your bonuses here. I guess it was just the double castle and investing so much stone into repairing his castle that put him into a position where he never had the stone for it.
Heresy against no heresy, and somehow Andy still makes it work.
And bombard cannon there to push back that castle. No stone income for Dogao. Kondo's considering to move in for Andy. Backs away with them. Has to be careful here. More upgrades coming in for Andy. A TC on the left for more stone and gold. He's got 44 on gold. And I think Dogao is in big trouble here if he loses this castle. He has to hope the Lightcav are enough, but there's pikemen now for Andy with the condos.
Oh, a really tight area. Oh no, horrible fight for the Lightcav.
Yeah, seriously, I think Dogao needs to just back away here, hope that something more can happen, but I think he might be distracted nearly. The moment might be getting to him here. 75 population for Dogao. It is 125 now for Andy as he comes forward with another bombard cannon.
Oh, just lost one against the Bombard Cannon. Short trap go against the trap. Short trap goes down. More conversions are coming in. And that castle is under real danger now.
And Dogao has 20 monks in queue. He has 0 light cav in queue. He's in full panic mode. This does not get any better, Nilly. Andy has done it again. I mean, on the last, 5 weeks, the players that he has beaten in TTL and other tournaments, just pretty insane. He beat Jordan. He beat Hera in the group stage. He then beat Dowd and Nikov in other tournaments, and now he's taken another scalp in Dogao. What an amazing performance from FreakinAndy. But we also have to say, amazing series from Dogao as well. It was amazing to watch.
Oh, man. So just the tiniest of details, right? If he had the monasteries a bit earlier, if he could have gotten to 20 a bit earlier, and maybe goes for Bombard Cannons himself, then it makes it a bit easier there. Hi. What a beautiful set.
I wonder what happens in this game if Dogao gets Heresy, but he doesn't do it after things start to go wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because, he researched Heresy after taking 2 or 3 bad engagements. If you go into it knowing, okay, Andy's got a lot of monks, Andy's better with monks, blah, 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 maybe he has better eco, and get Heresy, and it's a surprise factor when the fight is even, I think Dogao actually wins the game. But because he was at 6 monks versus his opponent's 20 when he got Heresy, it didn't feel like it really made a difference in the monk war. And similar to what we've said, many times players win in TTL. It's like Andy was the one, even though Dogao knew what was coming and he did a great job to know it was fast imp, Andy was the one setting the pace of the game. Andy was the one who researched fletching to help out initially with the castle. The chemistry upgrade was earlier. The map control was there. And what I'm most impressed by, people want to look at the monks and the heresy, and that's great. And you should, because it's really important. The eco behind, to have 103 eco, is the most impressive. This is kind of new for me. Most players are just all in one TC, like Dogao in these instances. So, we had seen in the group stage with Andy where, eventually if the all-in monk play doesn't work, he has enough vills to be able to recover and go for other things. So that's the most impressive part of Andy's play for me, and congratulations to him. Let's see if he can keep it up, though. He's going to be up against the Viper now in the quarterfinal.
That will be a very big task for sure.
Yeah, in that game, 36,000 resources collected for Andy. It was 28,000 for Dogao, who might be regretting not making a Fatoria or 2. That might have been able to bridge the gap. In terms of conversions, it was 67 conversions for Andy and 35 for Dogao. I relate so much to Dogao, though. It felt like the natural play was to go into the Monk War and the Treb War, and then it got to a point where he just wasn't as good as controlling them. All the little clicks and hitting different targets was so tricky for him. Great series, Nilly.
I think, it's just maybe a bit impatient.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
On paper, he went light cav and he had heresy, right? Monk number was 52 for Dogao and 53 for Andy. So, if Dogao fought when the monks were even, had heresy, and had light cav, the game it shouldn't be even close in the engagement, even if Dogao has worse monk micro. I just think he had the 52 monks, but he didn't have the timings on using them. He had the light cap, but he didn't have the timings on using them. And then he had heresy, but it came after he had lost a lot of his monks, so the timing wasn't right there either. And that's the unfortunate thing for Dogao that I'm sure he knows. So, Viper's been here in the chatter about Andy. I know he's watching right now as well. I'm really excited to see Viper face up against this guy. But congratulations, Andy, on the quarterfinals. Hopefully he continues to use this momentum to push himself forward and give us good games when that quarterfinal comes. We will have one more quarterfinal then, and that is including another player that was in Group C with Andy in Barles, and then a player that was in Dogao's group in Group B in Veleza, which should be another amazing set.